Oh, sorry, I couldn't find my headphones. They were on the floor, silly me.
Thanks for checking out Radio.co on YouTube. If you want to see more kit reviews, live webinars, and handy broadcasting tips, then give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon.
Tell you what, lesson to learn, everybody. Don't lose your headphones. They are important for the purpose of broadcasting. But hello, my name is Phil from Radio.co, and thank you very much for joining me for this rather spooky webinar. Last year I did a spooky one based on the topic of, one of the age-old scary questions when it comes to launching any radio or podcast is, what sort of equipment do I buy? There's so much available. I'm scared of getting the wrong things, or I'm scared of spending too much money. And in a similar vein, one of the most popular questions I get asked all year round is indeed, I don't feel like I'm quite ready to launch my own station. What do I need? How does Radio.co help? Will you help me along the way? So a lot of fears come stemming from the idea of launching your own station, and maybe you are out of the game a little bit, or it's something that's brand new to you. So hence celebrating this topic around Halloween by having our special guests on the desk and behind me. So the scary question is, how do I launch my own station and make it successful and make sure I'm happy and well off doing it? So this is what I'm going to be covering. So I'm going to be first of all going through the Radio.co platform, so showing you how that works, guiding you on some good basics and some good tips on how to get your station off to the best start possible, not the scariest start possible. And then after that, I've got a load of questions that you've asked beforehand, so thank you very much. We sent an email out ahead of this webinar, just asking for some questions about how to launch your own station, important things that you want to know. So, there we go, twirly ghost. All the questions are in this nice little Halloween-themed mug. And, that's about as Halloweeny as I'm going to get with that. I was originally thinking apple bobbing and having other questions written on or inserted into an apple, but that'd be a bit too wet for this overall rather professional, serious chat about radio. So you're just going to have to bear with me while I pull out questions out of this pumpkin mug. So as I say, part one is going through the Radio.co platform, giving you a good idea on how that works. As I say, following the basics, things like how to upload your content, how to build shows, tips on how to make the most of your presenters and shows, and overall just getting your station off to the smoothest way possible. And then the second part is going through questions. Now, these questions are about a number of different things about radio. So there are questions about adverts. How do I start getting adverts for my station? That's not the question, spoiler alert, but it's along those lines. Things about presenters, questions about other software or equipment you may want to use. So a mixed bag of questions that should go through everything to do with launching your own station. So again, thank you very much to those who did ask the questions beforehand. They are safely tucked inside this mug for now, and then they'll be read out by this mug in due course. And if you asked a question and it didn't get answered, I do apologise, but you can ask it again to me in person. So this webinar, again, just as a cautionary tale, has been pre-recorded. So if you do have any questions that you asked that I didn't get around to answering, or just questions you didn't ask at all, then please let me know via studio@radio.co. That email go straight to me, or you can comment on wherever you're watching this video. In the comments below, just let me know the questions and myself or the team will get back to you post haste. Speaking of, let's crack on, and learning about Radio.co. Woo! And how to launch your station in a less scary way. Okay, so what you should be able to see here on the screen is the Radio.co dashboard. So if you've never seen it before, welcome to Radio.co. Or if you are a previous, a broadcaster of our platform, or, you've just seen it before in some of the other videos, welcome back. Now, to get here, first of all, it's just a case of going to our website, Radio.co, going to the pricing page, and you'll see our 4 plans there. We have Light, Standard, Plus, and Premium. So there are 4 plans, and each of them give you the basic basics of broadcasting, but they just differ in terms of, how much storage space they may have, or what features may be available, how many listeners, how many DJs you can have. But fundamentally, all of them will give you everything you need to get started. It's just a case of finding out what suits you best. If you know you've got a certain amount of tracks that you want to upload, of course, lean towards a plan that gives you the storage space you want. Or if there's a particular feature in one of the higher up plans that you know you will definitely utilize from day one, by all means, go for that plan. Particularly, if you wanted things like mobile apps, Alexa skills, which I'll go into more detail later, they are available in our higher end plans as well. But fundamentally, pick whichever plan you feel is best for you. You can always upgrade and downgrade whenever you're ready, so you're not tied into the specific plan you like. And after a few minutes of signing up, this is what you will see. Now, the first question I will answer, it's not a question that's been asked already, so that's why I'll ask it right at the top. A lot of people actually ask me, what name can I give my station? Do I need call signs, call letters? Do I need to copyright the name I want to give? I guess it's recommended to. You can ultimately name your station whatever you like, within reason, of course. But no, go wild, call it whatever you like. If you are launching a community station, why not keep the name fairly local based, perhaps? It's great that you can obviously broadcast all over the world with an internet radio station like Radio.co, but ultimately, is it going to be a local audience that you're going to be appealing to? So come up with a name to the local audience. Come up with a name to do with the content you're playing, or just one that's to do with you. After all, it's your station. You have full creative control over what you want your station to be called. So yeah, name it whatever you like. There's no need to use things like call letters, call signs, because they're not needed when it comes to internet radio. But people still like to choose letters and numbers, of course, in their names. But what you'll see here is, as I say, the Radio.co dashboard, and your journey is about to start in, launching your very own online radio station in literally minutes. I'm going to go through with you for the next 20 minutes-ish, the basics of using it. There are a few bells and whistles on the platform, which I will leave out for now. But feel free to traipse through our website or some of my previous videos to see exactly how those features will come together. But as I say, 4 stages, I'd like to say, with the basics, really. So you've got uploading media, building shows, scheduling shows, and then the most important, inviting people to listen. So step 1, uploading media. So come to the dashboard, which is what you'll see every time you log in, which is where I am here. And along the top, you will see the button for adding media. And all you do is you click on that and select files that you want to upload. And as long as they are MP3 or M4A, or AAC is the other name for them, you can upload them. So that can be individual music tracks, interviews, podcasts, jingles, ads, or even fully pre-recorded shows. As long as it's in one of those compatible file formats, upload it. Before I do jump into the media though, one of the most important things, aside from obviously inviting people to listen, is actually allowing people to listen by default, by actually turning your station on. So this will probably be the 5th step you'll do, once you're getting ready to invite people, have something broadcasting. But I'll start here anyway. This is the on-air, off-air button. As I say, with it being a button, it's just a case of turning it on and off. And the Radio.co platform is actually cloud-based, so that allows you to tell the software what you want it to do, walk away, shut your computer down, pull your internet out of your walls, and your station is still broadcasting, because with it being cloud-based, it's powered by us. So our servers all over the world are keeping it running 24/7 for you. If you want to, you can turn it off and only broadcast periodically, maybe once a week, a couple of hours a day maybe. And I'll go into more detail about that based on one of the questions that's been asked as to why you may want to do that, at least when starting. But by default, it is a 24/7 platform, but you don't have to go like that if you don't want to. But turn your station on when you're ready to. Of course, the best way of turning your station on is to actually have content to play. So let's upload some media. So come to the media tab here on the left. And what you'll actually see is some of my tracks, some of my media that I've uploaded. These, again, are all MP3s or M4A files. I have music tracks. I have some idents, some jingles, some ads, some podcasts, interviews. Literally upload anything you like. And again, as a reminder, just click on the Add Media button here. upload them just as individual files or drag loads of files onto this screen and they'll all gradually upload. Or another alternative is if you have a large batch of files, you've got hundreds or thousands of tracks you want to upload, or they're just large files. So, if it's a 2-hour-long podcast you want to upload, you may find it easier to upload it via FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. It's a free piece of software, and it basically sends files from one location via a server to another, which is your Radio.co station. So that could be an alternative way for quickly getting a lot of content uploaded overnight, perhaps. But when it has been uploaded, you can actually add these brightly coloured labels to them, and they're what we call tags. And what these tags are I guess first and foremost a way of categorizing all of your media. So if you are uploading a lot of genres, lots of different varying types of music to your station, you may want to keep them a little bit separated, mainly for you, so you know how many of what certain genre or collection you have. Maybe you're uploading tracks of different decades, different vibes, different beats per minute perhaps. And a good way of doing that is to create these tags, because these tags form a sort of folder for you to store your tracks in. So for example, let's highlight these 3 tracks here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so these 4 tracks have uploaded. Now, for those who are big fans of Ultra Beat or Emma Bunton, I'm sure you will agree that these are not heavy metal tracks, but for the just for being a little funny with it, I guess let's just say these are heavy metal death metal tracks that we've uploaded here on your station. So Emma Bunton, obviously very prolific in the death metal world. So what we'll do is we're going to highlight these tracks here, and we are going to create a tag for these tracks. So we come to the top here where it says add and create tag. And, this is where you're literally typing anything. So these are some tags that I've created already, dance, house classics, pop, probably a bit more relevant to what we're actually uploading. But yeah, I'm going to type in death metal. There you go, just to be a little silly. And then click add. After all, it's Halloween. Bit scary music. There we go. So we got death metal here. And nicely enough, it's in a bit of almost a deep purple track as well. Not death metal, but I just tried to make a relevant segue joke. But here we go. So these 4 tracks are now categorized in this death metal category. So what that's done now is it has created a folder called death metal. So if I click on tags, all the way down to the bottom, you'll see I've got this tag, and there are 4 tracks associated with that, or there are 2 tracks associated with blues, with 50 tracks associated with the Beatles, for example. So that's why it's really good to create these tags, because it keeps things separate, keeps it tidy, and it tells you exactly how many tracks of what collection you have. And it also means as well, you can actually use these tags to randomize your content. So if you knew you wanted tracks to play, a pop track, an 80s track, a house classic, a death metal track in your your lunchtime show maybe, then you can use these tags to do that. And I'll show you how that looks a little bit later. But that's the first step, uploading your media. While I am here, actually, I will steer you towards a couple of features that do still act as media for you to create and pop into your shows. First one being live recordings. So if you subscribe to at least our standard plan, that's our $59 a month plan, you'll have the ability to schedule your live shows to record. So say, for example, this was what I'm doing right now through this microphone was a live talk show. I can actually schedule it to record. So whilst I'm on air, it's just capturing it all. And when I come off air, I'll have an MP3 file of that show I've just done. As evident here, you see I've got a 2-hour file from earlier this month. From last month, I've got an 1.5-hour file. Now, what I do with these tracks is totally up to me. I can just download them. As such here, if I can click download recording and it's stored on my computer, I could then delete it off Radio.co, create a bit more storage space for myself, but I still have that file. I could place it into a playlist and repeat it. So if someone missed it last night, why not give them a chance to revisit it or find it for the first time tomorrow night maybe. You can also, if it's a talk show, upload it to podcast.co, which if you are unaware of, that is our sister company. So if you did want to do live talk shows and then turn them into a podcast afterwards to really capitalize on that on-demand market and ultimately get your station and your brand on more platforms than where your radio will get you, things like Spotify or Apple Music, things like that, then podcasting is a great way to do it. only if it's a talk-based show, of course. And, if you do have a podcast.co account, you can upload it directly there, and it's then be rolling out to Spotify, Apple, shortly after your show has come to an end. If it's a music show, we've also got integration with Mixcloud, which is a great platform for uploading content that does contain music. Maybe it's a full DJ set you've done or a live music show, and you want people to listen to it again or when there's a more convenient time for themselves. Publishing it to Mixcloud is a great way, again, of capitalizing on that on-demand market and demand, of course. Voice tracking, another great tool for creating your own media. This allows you to record your vocal content that can be up to 10 minutes in length. So a great case study for this, to further describe this, is you've got a playlist of music. You could just schedule just an hour of back-to-back music, which is great, of course, but it's your radio station. Why not inject a bit of your personality into it? And a way of doing that is to record voice tracks. Maybe every couple of tracks you want to record an introduction to the next track that's coming, or you want to invite people to interact with you during the show, or download your app, or go to your website, or just read from something, or talk about something. Voice tracking allows you to do that. You can record content directly into Radio.co and then immediately schedule it for broadcasting whenever you like. So you don't always have to do your vocal, your talk content live. It's a great, easy way of doing it pre-recorded. So I'll show you how that looks in a moment. So, playlists. So this is the second step of creating your content, or rather building your show. You've uploaded your content that you want to play. Now you need to put it in a format that will actually broadcast that. And that format is a playlist. I keep nudging this ghost, but I can't move him because he's adorable. So a playlist, you can build as many as you like. You can make these playlists as long as you want, as short as you want. I've got a few pretty generic ones here, like a breakfast show, Phil's Mix. I've got an R&B, a podcast show. Now, you'll say, Phil, you've got a bit of a boring named playlist there called Default. Well, truth be told, that's actually a playlist you will find in your account as well. The default playlist is kind of like our secret weapon in a way. What it allows you to do is this allows you to almost not even schedule a single thing. And as long as you've got content in your default playlist, that will play continuously, 24/7, or rather for as long as it needs to. This is your auto DJ in a way. So what you can do is you can fill this default playlist with as much content as you like. So for context, I've got 90 tracks inside of mine. That contains loads of tracks, podcast jingles, voice tracks maybe. And if you have your station on air like mine is, but I have nothing scheduled at this time, the default playlist will actually automatically fade in and take over, which is really awesome. So, you've got this 24/7 platform, which again, in the theme of today, it's a very scary thought. How on earth am I supposed to manage my own show, never mind my own station? I've got 24 hours to play with. How am I going to fill it? You don't have to if you don't want to. You could schedule one show a week, one show a day. It could be a playlist, a live show, whatever you want. And leave the rest of your schedule completely blank. And what we'll do is this default place will just fade in and fill those gaps for you. So it's almost an instant way of having a 24-hour station without spending so much time and effort in putting it together. So in this default playlist, as I say, I've got lots of different tracks, but I'm going to build a specific show for you now. So at the top here where it says new playlist, I'm going to create the name of my playlist. So I'm going to call this one Halloween Vibes. There we go. That sounds cool. So I'll replace it with the Z, Vibes. There we go. That's cool. Actually, to make it even cooler, let's get rid of the E. Halloween Vibes. That's what we're going for. And we're going to give it a colour. Nice, scary, dark colour. Click the add button. Sorry, I didn't commit to that. There we go. A bit better. So we got our Halloween Vibes show. Now, I can fill this with anything I like. And as soon as I start adding tracks in, you will see the duration of this show is starting to list. It was originally 0 because there was nothing in it. As soon as I add a track by clicking on this plus button, the duration starts filling up nice and easy. So as I say, you can make this playlist as long or as short as you want. It's literally your show. And again, just to remind you, you've got full creative freedom and control about whatever your station looks like, sounds like, when it broadcasts, how on earth you promote yourself. It's totally up to you. So add your tracks in, again, as much as you like. You can see I've added specific tracks in a specific order, but of course I can change them up if I like so. All of these tracks will abide by a default crossfade as well. So what that means is you will set how long each track can fade in and fade out of each other. So it's never going to be a harsh stop and start sort of show. It's always going to blend into each other in the closing second or two. And you can set that in your settings. So for now, all of these tracks are nicely in and out, blending into each other and sounding really slick and really nice. Now, I could just save this playlist and be pretty happy with it, like so. But, in actual fact, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to add in a couple more items to my playlist. So, as I mentioned before, you can use your tags to randomly populate your playlist. And a great way of doing that, if it's a great way of doing that if you wanted maybe a specialist show, specialist hour, like a party hour, rock hour, 90s show, and you're not really bothered about what tracks play, you just know they want to play of a specific genre and feeling. So use your tags to do that. So I've got a 90s tag here to use that as an example. I can take this tag and just pop it into my playlist. And I'll take an acoustic tag as well. Now what the software will do is when it gets to this tag in the running order here, so track 2 in this case, it's just going to play a random track that happens to have that tag on it. So, if I've got 200 tracks tagged as 90s, again, it's just going to pull a random one out of that collection, and it will do the same in my acoustic there. Now, the software and you, of course, you don't know what track is going to play until it actually starts playing. So it doesn't know how long it's going to take your playlist now, or what sort of tracks are going to be playing there. But the software will always make sure that every track within that tag plays once before any are repeated. So you can always make sure that even if you play the same tag multiple times in a row or throughout different shows, it's always going to be randomly different until, of course, all the tracks in that collection have played. Then they'll start repeating. You can also set things called separation rules, and that will make sure that the same artist and the same album aren't repeated too often as well. So another way to doubly make sure that the same tracks or similar tracks aren't going to be playing within a short period of time. I can also build playlists that only contain tags if I really wanted to. So again, if I knew my Halloween vibes was just going to be full of 90s tracks, say we've gone absolutely berserk, I can get rid of all these tracks, like so. I can click save, and I can schedule that for 1 hour. And for 1 hour, it's just going to keep playing a random track with the 90s tag associated with it. Again, doesn't know which one it's going to be. It's always going to make sure it's different. But that's, the least amount of time and effort you need to spend building a specialist playlist. Just give it a name, put a tag in it, and schedule it. And I mentioned about recording. So if you've recorded any of those live shows that you've done, click on the recordings, find that file associated with the timestamp that you can also rename, of course. But I'm going to take that file, move it across, and there we go. I'm now repeating an old 2-hour-long show from earlier this month. It's now taking up to 2 hours. So again, that's a way to repeat your shows. Take that recording, move it across. And then we also have voice tracking. As mentioned, it's a way of recording content up to 10 minutes in length. And a great simple way of doing that is clicking on this microphone button here at the top. If I click that, click on this red microphone, decide the microphone you're going to use. Of course, this desk isn't actually hooked up to my laptop, so it's not actually going to record anything through here. It's going to choose the microphone built into my laptop, which you can use. It's not going to sound great, but it's still an option. But this drop-down menu will show you everything that has been connected up to your computer. Bluetooth, connected by USB. So select what you want, click on this red button here, and you can see my levels are going because it's picking up my voice and it's counting backwards from 10 minutes. So I can use as much of this time as possible. I can literally use it for 10 seconds to talk about a track that's coming up next. Or I can talk for 10 minutes and read from something. If you've got a speech or a bit of teachings, or you want to play a game, or again, invite people to follow you on social media, this is a great way of doing it. Just record, click stop when you're finished, listen back to it, make sure everything sounds okay, play it back, delete it if you're not happy and start again, and then give it a name. So I can call this one Halloween Link 1, something like that. Click create. There we go. And it's now going to save, and it will then place itself within my playlist. Nice and simple. Again, I can decide where I want it. Does this start off the show? I think so. Move it across. And that's kind of everything that's involved in building your playlist. You can build it as simply by just using a tag, or you can use lots of tags, specific tracks in specific orders, old shows, voice tracks, ads, jingles. Just build the dream show that you want, tell the platform what you want it to play, and it will. Of course, unless you don't tell it when you want it to play. So that's what I'm going to show you now. How do you actually tell the software to play what it is you want? So click save. And we'll go to the third step, which is scheduling. So I click on the schedule, and this is what you'll see. It's a calendar. You've got your days of the week along the top here, Monday through to Sunday. You've got your times down by the side, 24-hour display. And this in particular is my current schedule. So I have a live show 9 till 12, and a live show 6 till 9. But you'll notice the huge gaps throughout the day, every afternoon and 12 hours all through the night. Now, if you remember, I mentioned about that default playlist, and what that default playlist does is it fills in any gap in your schedule, and that's exactly what's happening right here. I don't need to schedule content all day, every day, so take that scary thought out of your head. I can just leave huge gaps here, a 12-hour gap here, 6-hour gap here. I could leave it blank 24 hours a day if I wanted to. As long as I have content inside that default playlist, at least one track, that will automatically play and just fill in every gap you have. So if you were using that default playlist a lot, why not fill that with only tags? And it means that no matter how often you play that default playlist, those tags are just going to randomly populate your playlists. But of course, if you want to schedule a specific show at a specific time, then this is how you do it. Very simple. Click the time you want it to start and drag it to the time you want it to finish. So I will click on 2. I'm going to drag it now down to 4. There we go. When you let go of the mouse, you will see your create event screen. And this is where you just confirm what these details are. So first of all, start time. When does it start? So it starts at 2. Perfect. That's what I wanted. It lasts for 2 hours and therefore finishes at 4. Excellent. That's exactly, of course, what I wanted. So that's great, but I can change it. You can actually schedule shows to be exactly specific minutes long. So you don't have to do it as blocks in 15, 30, 60-minute times. If I wanted this show to be specifically 1 hour and 37 minutes long, I can. I just need to change the duration here. Now, days of the week. So at the moment, I've just scheduled it for today, which is a Tuesday. But I can, if I wanted to, schedule it across multiple days of the week. So I can click on Thursday and Saturday. And in doing that, it will schedule it 2 till 4 on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or Wednesday as well, or every day. So if you knew this was going to be a reoccurring show every day, you don't need to schedule it individually every day. The software can replicate it for you. And the same applies on a monthly basis, or rather a weekly basis. So if you knew you were going to be playing this show 2 till 4 every day, every week for at least the next 3 months, as an example, do that. Repeat every week. Choose a random date within the next 2 years, actually. So I'm going to pick a random date here. Yeah, we go 18th of April. I'll tell you what, let's do it. The 18th of April, 2023. Next year, it's going to schedule it every day up until that point. Now, the last thing you do is click on the Advanced tab. Advanced by name, but not by nature, because all you're doing is just confirming what type of show this is going to be. So you'll see here it says Event Type. Playlist, first of all, is, as the name suggests, it just means I want to play a playlist on it. And you choose that from here, this drop-down menu here. So I'm going to go with the old Halloween Vibes show. So this means I'm going to play the Halloween Vibes playlist 2 till 4 every day of the week, every week up until the 18th of April. If I'm happy with that, I can click Create Event, give it a handful of seconds, and there we go, it's now been scheduled. So you can see 2 till 4, the Halloween Vibes playlist. This will automatically fade in at 2, automatically fade out at 4, because as I say, it's all cloud-based. So you don't need to constantly monitor your station every day, because the software will do that for you. Just tell it what you want it to do, when you want it to do it, and leave it in its very capable hands. And this is all based on your time, your local time as well. So when you create your account, you will decide the time that it wants to follow. So again, it will always play at the times that you have specified. If you have any back-to-back playlist, it will just fade out of one and into the next. Or in this case, is what it's doing here with the default playlist instead, either side. And that's how simple it is to schedule something that's pre-recorded. It's just a case of uploading your media. Again, upload anything you like. Building those playlists, and then deciding what time you want those playlists to play. Now for live shows, it's done in pretty much the same way. All you do is on the event, where it says event type, you instead select live DJ. And you just need to, similar to a playlist, just specify the specific host that's going to be doing this show. So if I click on here, I will see everyone that is associated with my account. Because with each Radio.co subscription, there is a limit on how many people you can invite to have remote access. So if you had 20 people who wanted to do a live show once a week, take a plan that makes sure it gives you at least 20 spaces. So I would click myself here, Phil, and this just means me, Phil, I'm going to be hosting this live show, and only me. So if anyone else tries to log in, so if Rowan behind the camera wants to log in and do a live show, he can't, because the software is only expecting me to do it, not him. So a good era of security there for you. So, even though you are giving people remote access to your account, DJs can only go live when the software is expecting them to, and DJs can't actually schedule themselves for shows. If I want to record the show, which I ruddy well do, I'm going to click on, and we've got record broadcast on. And then I just click update event or create event. So yeah, as update, because I'm making changes to something I've already made, but you can actually make changes to any playlist, any live show, doesn't matter how far ahead it's been scheduled for, doesn't even matter if it's currently on air, you can make changes to it. If someone was vomiting at the thought of me doing a live show and they just hated everything I was doing, they could swap me out with someone else and I would just be none the wiser. So it's a great way you have full control over your shows. But now you can see 2 till 4 live DJ Phil. There is a backup playlist that will play, so whichever playlist you select here when you have chosen a live DJ, that will play in the event of any disconnections. So when you're doing a live show, you need to be connected to the Radio.co server. And by connecting, you're just confirming who it is that's logged in and what equipment you're using for your live show. So if I had this Rodecaster Pro 2 plugged into my laptop, I would select that, and it means that all the audio going through this into the desk is going through my computer and therefore out on air. Now, in order to connect, of course, you will need a live internet connection. But of course, wherever we find ourselves in these times, modern technology isn't always what it's cracked up to be. And my internet could just be lost, or there could be a power cut in my area, and therefore power's gone, internet's gone, I've gone off air. Don't worry though, because the software is being powered by us, by Radio.co, a backup playlist will automatically... God, I really hit it then, didn't I? The backup playlist will kick in automatically, and that will take over for you. So it's always primed, ready to go in the event of any disconnection. So if you are ever disconnected due to a unpredictable technical issue, don't worry, Halloween Vibes in this case is going to fade in automatically and fade out when you have reconnected. It also does it in the event of no connection at all. So if I was the most unreliable person on earth and I had no intention of joining my show at 2 o'clock, then don't worry, because the Halloween Vibes playlist is ready to go if I miss my mark. So if I don't get connected and start my show before 2 o'clock because I'm on the bus, having a cup of tea, asleep, rubbish with technology, whatever it is, this playlist will fade in and start playing instead until I have connected. So if I was 5 minutes late, half an hour late, doesn't matter, that will keep playing until I have connected. So there we have it. That's everything to do with scheduling a live host. Similar to a playlist, as you've seen, it's just a case of selecting a specific person you want to go on air and deciding again what time that show should happen. And there we go. And then the final stage, which is probably the most important, is how on earth do people listen to your station? Well, to do that, there are a couple of different ways. But first of all, we're going to go to the Listen tab on your account. And what you'll see is a standard streaming URL. This is a unique link for your station. Think of it like a unique FM frequency on your radio. This is a web link specifically for your station. And you can share this with people, you can post it on social media, and when you click on it, it will just take people to a browser tab on your computer or smartphone, and it will instantly start streaming your station. It will be in the form of a browser tab that's just got a black screen and a play button, but it's a very, very easy way of people connecting seamlessly. So that's available here. Now, you can see it's not the most attractive of links, so you can instead use this streaming URL in a radio directory like Streamer. If you're in North America, tune in as well is a possibility, although it will cost you about $1,000 a year to be listed on TuneIn now. That's only for those in North America. Everywhere else in the world, I don't believe it's possible to get integrated with them at this current recording anyway. Streamer is just as popular. It still sees millions of people using it. So, it's a good route to also go down for. That is free. We've also got a help guide, which features over 30, maybe 40 or so different directories from all over the world. So that is another possibility for you to go down as well. And directories just open up more ways of people listening. You can instead build a web player. So if you have a website, whether that's now or in the future, a web player can display things like artwork for your shows or tracks, track and show information. It could be a picture of a DJ, a picture of a location. It could even be a picture of a sponsor, maybe. Maybe someone is sponsoring your breakfast show playlist or show, and you've got a picture of that business or the logo for it as your artwork for the show. So it's a bit of a poor example that this exact time that we're recording it happens to have a track which has no artwork, and if that ever does happen, it just reverts to the logo for your station, which, as you can see, is the Radio.co logo here. But yeah, so this is displaying it. It comes in a few different shapes and sizes. You've got all your artwork there. And this is a very, very simple piece of coding. It's something that's very, very quick to build. You just click on the Add Player button here at the top. And it just asks you a series of questions like, how big do you want it? Do you want artwork enabled? What color scheme? Answer all that. Click on the copy embed code option there, and you can simply paste it onto your website. And whatever design you've gone for, that is what will be available more or less immediately on your website. And then the other things that you can use for people listening are in your add-ons. So you can build your very own Alexa skill. So this is a fantastic way for people to connect to your radio station without having to lift a finger. It's just a case of asking Alexa whose station you want to listen to and to have listening to it right now. So this is available as an extra for £10 a month on top of your light or standard plan, but it is included in the plus and the premium plans and no extra charge. And then also we have our mobile apps. Now at the time of recording, we've very, very recently released our brand new awesome apps. And at the moment, again, at this current time of recording, October 2022, they are only available in our Plus and our Premium plans. We do hope to make them available in all of our other plans as an add-on, but for now, you will need to subscribe to the Plus and Premium plans to do that. And so I'll show you how they look a little bit later. But these apps are actually, I'll show you now. I can go on what they might look like here. Go to our apps page. There we go. So this is just an idea of what they could look like. They still follow a template like our old apps, but you have a bit more control over the content that they have. So different varying color schemes here. And you see if I go along the bottom, you can obviously have people listen to your live radio. You can embed a schedule on there so people can go on your app to see what shows or playlists you've got coming up next. You can have an RSS news feed. So if you wanted to use a news source and have their news, scrolling across your app from time to time, that is a perfect way of doing it. And you'll also see, if I really zoom in over here, podcast. So I mentioned before about capitalizing on different brackets of audiences, whether that's capturing those that listen to live radio and on demand. If you have a podcast, whether that's at the moment, adjacent to your radio station, or you want to simply turn some of your content into an on-demand podcast, this is the way to do it. You can have your podcast feed hosted on Podcast.co or elsewhere, and take that RSS feed, funnel it into your app, and now people can listen to you live and on demand through your app. So this is a feature that we wanted so badly in our old apps, and it wasn't possible. Now it is. So these apps, I say, are available within our premium and our plus plans, and they are a fantastic little beast that we spent a long, good amount of time sorting out. So if you want to really make the most of having different mediums for your brand, then radio and podcasting is the way to do it. And that's kind of it for the crash course. As I say, there are a couple of other bells and whistles the platform can do. Of course, you can track your audiences all over the world, wherever they find themselves. You can change settings to make sure specific countries can listen, or adjust how good quality your broadcasting stream can be. And of course, you can generate reports for the purposes of licensing as well. But I'll leave you to kind of kind of experiment and have a little investigate yourself. We have a free trial which you can activate from our website. If we go to the pricing plan here, there's always a free 7-day trial you can activate here for our main plans here, and also our light plan here. Just click on the start trial button for whichever plan you want. And as a reminder, you can upgrade and downgrade anytime you like. Activate a free 7-day trial, and that is the perfect time to just experiment with the capabilities of not only our platform, of course, but for you. Are you a broadcaster? Do you find our platform easy to use? Is it giving you everything that you need? And if you need help, if there's anything you need, then support is included. We're only an email away for technical support, and also just for guidance. If you just want a bit of help and assistance in promoting your station, a bit of equipment advice, anything like that. This is what part of this webinar is about, which I'm going to be answering some questions now. So, we do an abundance of content. We're very knowledgeable and passionate about broadcasting. So we'll do everything in our power to make it seamless for you. And jumping into the trial is the first and best way to really test that out. Is the platform kitted out for what you need? If it is, perfect. If not, let us know and we'll help in any way we can. Now, speaking of help, let's answer a couple of your questions. Okay, so questions-wise, as I say, thank you very much to those that have written in your questions, obviously, beforehand. Hopefully I pronounced everyone's names correctly. But as I said, if you did ask a question and I didn't get around to answering it, please do email me via studio@radio.co. And that applies if you have questions which you just didn't get around to answering, or you didn't see that email you sent round. Just send me a direct email or just ask your questions in the comments below. Okay, so first questions in this nice festive Halloween mug. First question is from Marcus. Can Radio.co integrate with an FM station? Good question right out the gate. So, Marcus, it can, it's particularly in one direction anyway. So we actually have a lot of Radio.co users that are strictly FM or AM broadcasters, and they're using Radio.co as just an online feed. They're creating a brand new online presence for their station, and it's a great way of using it. You won't use any of the scheduling and automation tools that I've kind of shown you already. You'll just be using it pretty much as a 24/7 live broadcast, just sending a feed from your FM console and transmitter through to Radio.co. We then replicate it as an online feed. And that can be done very, very simply. You can just connect live to your studio computer, continuously send your feed 24 hours a day, leave your station running. It does require a constant, uninterrupted 24/7 internet connection, of course, to do that. But again, even if your connection dropped, you've still got the capabilities of the backup player. So it just means your currently scheduled FM programming, in the event of a technical issue, might not reach your online audience, but still content will, at the end of the day, still reach through the backup playlist. So yeah, it works wonders. You can use things, a piece of equipment called like the Barracks X-Streamer, or in-streamer, I forget which one's which. But those Barracks boxes are great for connecting in a more reliable manner, connecting an FM transmitter to an online radio portal like Radio.co. So that's a great way of doing it. It kind of works in the other way around as well. Now, Radio.co is exclusively an online platform, so you can't just use Radio.co to program natively your FM station. Now, you can in a unreliable way. So, as I mentioned before, if you want to broadcast continuously an FM feed over to your online audience, you need that constant uninterrupted internet connection. Now, the second that breaks, it just reverts to the backup playlist. The same still applies there when you're doing it vice versa the other way around, except you do need an uninterrupted internet connection anyway, for it to reach your FM console, because if you are programming through Radio.co and hoping it to reach your FM audience, soon as there's a power cut, that's it, your FM audience is completely gone. There's no backup in place for them. It would still continuously broadcast as normal for your online audience, but your FM audience will just be in with dead air. So it can be done simply, on your computer in your FM studio, pressing play on your streaming URL and just leaving it running 24 hours a day. That will still it's like a live play out rather than a live stream. So that is a way of doing it, but as I say, it's unreliable because it does require an uninterrupted internet connection, and I guess always an overseeing pair of eyes, I guess, making sure it's running. So by all means, give it a go on that way. But it may be more trouble than it's necessarily worth. But all the way around, absolutely use Radio.co to create an online portal for your station. Okay, so thank you very much, Marcus. Next question here is from Arturo. Is it possible to use my current scheduling software with Radio.co? Again, another great question that we get asked a lot. And again, it works actually in a similar way to the FM question I just answered there. If you want to use any other software outside of our scheduling and automation, it does require it to be hooked up like a live broadcast. You're sending a live feed from somewhere else and putting it into Radio.co. So anything outside of Radio.co's native tools will need an outside external influence and uninterrupted internet connection to do so. But again, with your online audience, any internet connection issues or power cuts, your audience is still playing, and they'll rely on the backup playlist that you have built already. Automation software, we actually have quite a good number of automation platforms and DJ softwares you can very easily integrate into Radio.co, and usually it just requires your unique host port and password, which is what you need to connect with when going live. Usually there's an option in that piece of software literally just to connect it directly. So you'll find a lot of help guides, on things about Radio DJ. Play It Live is a good one that we like to steer people towards. So we have guides on most of the more well-known, easy-to-use ones anyway. It can get a little tricky if you're using scheduling software externally, and in all honesty, I'm not clued up really in exactly how to connect those up. I think I did see a question someone asked about Music Master in particular. Music Master is a popular scheduling platform. I've not used it personally, so I couldn't tell you how it works or how it connects up, but I do believe Music Master have tested it out themselves, and I think they do help people use Music Master alongside Radio.co. So it's worth getting in touch with them, because I would suggest that they're a bit more knowledgeable in connecting their platform to ours. But it is possible, just depends on the requirements of the software that you want to use. Next question from Akin Rotahun. Again, apologies for pronouncing your name wrong. Akin Rotahun asks, must a presenter sound highly educated and trained before going on air? I guess that comes to a personal preference, really. I mean, the most important thing is you don't need experience to be a broadcaster. You just need ultimately that passion. I mean, if you sound terrible and you're nervous, you're incompetent, for lack of a better word, then it doesn't matter how good of equipment you have or how much encouragement you have. It's going to be difficult to sound good on air. But if you have that passion and that confidence in what you're talking about and the audience specifically that you're broadcasting to, that's all the experience you need. You don't need to necessarily be trained on how to present or go to school or, spend time and time again doing practice shows and rehearsal. As long as you are confident talking and you have that passion, again, to talk about what you're supposed to, or passion for broadcasting the music you want to play, or, as I say, the most important thing, you're passionate broadcasting to your community that your station's dedicated to, then that's the first thing that audiences will pick up. They'll continue listening to you because they're like, hey, I like the way this guy sounds because he's appealing to me. I can hear how passionate he is. It's not just someone having a go, essentially. But if you do want some guidance on how to train, and how to improve your presenting skills, the voice tracking tool is a great way of just building up confidence in using the platform. It's actually kind of what I steer schools towards. So, if you are an educator looking at launching a school radio station, then the voice tracking tool is a great way of just students practicing, presenting, and then still being able to hear back what they sound like. They can download those files and listen to them and re-record them. So that's a great way of kind of doing practice shows that still go out on air, but practice shows instead of before going live. But if you want a real good, quick education with one of the best broadcasting coaches in the country, then we do a fantastic How to Be a Better Presenter course, which you can find on our website, radio.co/courses. It's led by Kate Cocker. She does a fantastic course, all through ways of, again, building up confidence and competence in broadcasting, as well as, if you wanted to go into podcasting as well, tips on how to also be a good podcaster. So yeah, it's a course that you pay for. I think it's about $200, I believe, to pay for the full course. It's about 8 modules. You unlock each module every week. But yeah, that's a great way just to get one of the best coaches, more or less virtually in your front room, telling you about how to and helping you get more confidence in your broadcasting. So Radio.co/courses is a good way to go. Next question. Claire, do I need expensive equipment, and where can I buy radio kit from? Again, Claire, as I mentioned before at the top of this webinar, the scary thing I covered last Halloween was, about so much equipment available. What do I need? I always say the very least you need to get started is just a computer and an internet connection, particularly if you're going to be automated, either at least for the start or throughout. You don't need anything else. If you want to talk, maybe get a USB powered microphone, plug that straight into your computer, and away you go. It's always good to maybe put aside, I say about $100, £100 is a good benchmark for a really good quality entry-level USB microphone. We're big advocates for things like companies like Rode, Behringer, Shure. They do a good number. Even Logitech with the Blue microphone, the Blue Yeti microphones as well. Really good entry-level microphones that sound fantastic. Plug in and go, and they can be offered for around the $120 mark. Now, if you want to do live broadcasting for music or multiple guests, then that's the time you may want to invest in things like mixing desks, like the Rodecaster Pro 2. Not necessary to get something like this. I think this is about £700 or £800 or so. So this is very much in the top end because it does a lot of other bits and bobs. I say top end. We've got a mixer in the back room. That's about $3,000, something like that. So, fundamentally, though, desks, audio interfaces, they range from £50 to £5,000, something like that. They cater for everyone's needs, for everyone's uses of microphones, what they want to do. So just find, if you did want to use a live, a mixer for your live shows, make sure, has it got enough XLR ports for one microphone? Is it USB powered? That's ideally what you want for a quick setup. Can I plug other things into it, like mobile phones or things like the Rodecaster? Does it have Bluetooth? Can I connect a phone to do calls and stuff on there? So just find what suits you. There's no need to go ballistic on getting a massive, incredibly expensive model. But yeah, that's again a great, a good tip there. Get what you feel is preferred for your station. And again, people always ask, do we need things like foam tiles like what we've got behind us? No, if you've got a good microphone, that will concentrate and absorb your voice more than these will perhaps ever do. But it's still good to maybe scatter them around the room a little bit. You can get them pretty cheap, things like Amazon, but by no means essential. And there we go. So I said, apologies if I didn't get around to answering everyone's questions. There was an awful lot to get through, but please ask me via email. Just send an email, studio@radio.co, if you have any questions at all, or just ask them in the comments below. I'll go through as many as possible and help in any way I can to make launching your station as less scary and ghouly as I possibly can. And I hope you enjoyed the demonstration of the platform as well, whether it's the first time seeing it or you've just had a little refresher. What we've strived to do with Radio.co is make it as user-friendly as possible and as encouraging as we possibly can be, to give anyone with an inkling and a dream just to get up and begin broadcasting. That's our aim. We just want to make it as simple to just jump in and rock and roll anytime you are ready. So please, if you just have any questions about how to get ready, again, send me an email, studio@radio.co, and we can book in a demo, or you can go to our website, radio.co/demo, and book a call with myself or a member of the team where we can discuss your plans, show you how you can bring your plans to life on the platform, and of course answer any questions or concerns you may have about it. But thank you so much for joining me for this webinar. I hope you've not been terrified quite so much, and of course the terrifying notion of launching your station has been settled until next Halloween, at least. Thank you once again. Do make sure, if you want to see more content like this, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, go to our channel, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know that anytime we do a new webinar, review, educative video, you're always the first to know about it. And until next time, take care, happy broadcasting, and don't be afraid of the dark and the prospects of launching your own internet radio station.
And just before you go, how would you like to launch your very own online radio station? Surprisingly, it's a lot simpler than you may think. And the absolute best way to get started is by chatting to myself or another member of the Radio.co team. To do that, just head to Radio.co/demo to schedule a video call with us, where we'll discuss your plans, answer your questions, and of course, guide you around the Radio.co software.